Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. Today we're going to start our mystery with doing the line square. So you're seeing it's a very large size square, and it's really quite fabulous. And this one I believe is the second easiest one of the entire Afghan that we're going to be making together. So there's a total of 4 squares, so there will be a neighbor and also a neighbor diagonal and a neighbor on top. So this is just one. You only have to do one for this particular design. So let's talk a little bit more about this design. If I were to say that there was really a hard part to this particular square, I'd really have to force myself to say that there was anything hard. But I guess the first thing that you have to watch for is the very first time the first gap appears right near the center of your square. So once you get that established, everything kind of grows out from that point, and you use that as your base point in order to make it all work. So without further ado, let's head on down to the studio and let's get started on working this mystery together. So let's get started on week number 1, and this square here is approximately 23 inches by 23 inches. It's pretty large, and this is the only square of the 4 that literally have no texture to it, so it's more of a flat surface. And I know that you can't really see the design here on how it's gonna look, but let me show you the crochet diagram and then I'll bring you back to the written instructions in just a moment. So looking at the crochet diagram, you can see what the pattern's gonna look like better, other than the sample that I've already showed you in the preview. So you're going to notice that we have a gapping space that lines up and it goes out in a V, and then eventually it then switches off and breaks off and it creates this really unique look as it's going out. You're going to notice that the corners are pretty simple. It's just a kind of like a regular granny stitch, really 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and that's really quite easy to maintain. And the hardest part, if there is going to be a hardest part on this one, is just make sure that you get the first gapping space then established, and once you get that one, it basically works out to be able to follow it as you go along. So let's go back to the written instructions because there's a lot of them, but I don't want that to make you afraid from doing this pattern. So immediately when you go to download this, you're gonna say, wow, there's 4 pages of instructions for this and I can't do it because of that. This is the nice thing about the crochet pattern diagram, is that if you are reading diagrams, and I'm gonna show you that as we get going as well, is that if you can do that instead of having to read all these words, you're off to the races. And the reason why there's so many words is that the gapping spaces change. They change location, so it's just not a repeat of the same rows. They just change, so it requires more explanation every time it's happening like that. So it's really not a hard thing to be able to do. Let's take a closer look at the crochet diagram. Let's teach you how to read it, and then I'm gonna get you started, and the rest of it's gonna be up to you to get it yourself all the way to the ending. There is only 18 rounds in this particular square. I just wanted to let you know that all of the squares that we're going to be doing all have 18 rounds only, so it's not like it's a huge commitment on your part. So here is the crochet diagram, and all of them that we have, all the stitch alongs, have all these diagrams that are available throughout the 4 weeks. So you're going to start off in the very beginning, and if you're not sure what the symbols are, if you go to the stitch key on the side, that you can see that you have a chain, a slip stitch, and a double crochet. Those are the only stitches that are involved with making this whole thing. You're going to notice that there's spacing that is creating the lines up into the project. But how do we know really if we're reading the instructions counterclockwise or clockwise? That you can tell really quite easily. Let me show you the secret to that. So looking at the very center that we have here, the same graphics artist that we use on the Crochet Crowd all tends to be the same way, so it all tends to be in counterclockwise. If though there is a change, how you can tell is where the slip stitching is. So you see that when you started here, you chained up 4, which we know, and then let's assume that we went counterclockwise because I'm telling you. So we go all the way back around. You can see that there's a slip stitch here. So you notice that it's on this side of the chain, not the other side. So this means that when I came up, I rotated counterclockwise. And when we go to start up round number 2, you'll notice that we slip stitch over to get ourselves here. So once we finished here, we slip stitched, and then we started and again chained up and then went all the way back around. And then in round number 2, you see that the slip stitch here is on this side of the chain, therefore that must be the ending. So every time the slip stitching is on one side or the other, that's telling you what is the very end of the row, so, or end of the round. So if the slip stitching was on the other side, so the dot was on the other side as it came all the way around, it means that we rotate the other way. Technically it really doesn't make a difference if you're reading the diagram in one direction or another. It's just nice to have a standard when it comes to these things. Each one of the sides are the exact same pattern, so what you see happening over here is happening here and here. So when we go to get started, we're going to rotate around and then we're going to create our first gapping space in round number 3. So you're going to notice that as these gapping spaces move, that when you double crochet you chain up. Okay, so you chain over and then you double crochet back down into the gapping space just like you see. So it moves over the gapping space one double crochet as you're going to do it. Now as you move up, it'll split up on itself. So once you get to a certain row, and here's the solution to it. Whenever you get 9, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, whenever you get 9 double crochets in a row, that means that it's gonna be splitting off in the next one. And that's true when it hits up to the very top here, is that there's 9 in between here and here, and that's where the splitting is happening. So that gives you kind of an indication of where you are in the pattern for making these kind of situations work. So really as you're going along, it's really quite easy to maintain. Let me take you quickly to the sample and then we're gonna get started. So it's really important that you know how to read these crochet diagrams, because I'm only gonna get you started and then you can just follow the crochet diagram in order to follow all these gapping spaces up to create the lines. So here's my sample, here's the starting, and then you can see then in round number 3 we started with the first gap, and then you see that it shifts out just like you see. So the gaps are always made up of a chain 1. So you can see that it progressively builds out, and then what's gonna happen then is that it's going to then split off, and then when it splits off you'll see that there's 2 gaps on either side as it goes in either direction. So it's actually really quite easy to be able to maintain. The only thing I would kind of be just conscientious of is that make sure that you are paying attention to which side the gappings are appearing. Sometimes I've made a mistake and I've actually put a gap on the wrong side, so I've had to frog a little bit, but I've noticed right away every time I've done that. So it's actually pretty easy to be able to maintain. Remember, the secret answer is 9 double crochets at the final point of the diamond. So you got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. There's a gap, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So that's a great indication to say that that diamond is at its biggest, and then it starts to decrease as it makes its way to the edge, and then finally as you get close to the edge there's one more right on the very edge itself. So let's get started. You're going to need a 5mm size H crochet hook and Caron 1 pound. This is going to be your main color of your Afghan. So let's get started. We're going to create a slip knot to begin, and we're gonna chain a total of 4. So this is going to count as your first double crochet in the middle of your granny square. So you're going to chain up 4. So 1, so that is your middle, 2, 3 and 4, and that's your double crochet. So right in the very one, the fourth one from the hook, right where I'm pinching, see where I'm moving, you are going to put in 2 more double crochets into that one. Okay, so just put 2 in, and so this is gonna cause it to rotate around. So 1 and 2. So with the chains that you just skipped over to create that, you have 1 2 and 3. Now to turn a corner, always in this particular project is always gonna be chain 2, so it's nice and easy to remember, and then back in the starting one again, right where I'm pinching and moving, you're going to put 3 more double crochets into that spot. So 1 2 and 3, and then to turn a corner, do you remember what it was? Chain 2. Okay, back into the center again for 3 more. So 1 2 and 3. Okay, and then chain 2, back into the center again for 3 more double crochets. So 1 2 and 3. Okay, so you can see that you have 4 sides done, but you're missing the final corner, so chain 2, and then you want to attach it to the top of the beginning, chain 3. So just insert in, pull through and through. So you're in the incorrect area to start, and you'll notice in the instructions, remember I said how to slip stitch. So you're gonna slip stitch into the next one, so just go right into the top of the next stitch, pull through. You're going to slip stitch into the next one after that, pull through, and then slip stitch right into this chain 2 space and hold. So that is round number 1. So let's begin round number 2. So round number 2, there's no gapping spaces at all. We're just going to go once around just to get ourselves established, and we're going to chain up 3. So 1 2 3 counts as your double crochet, and then you're going to double crochet back into that same chain 2 corner space. Now we're gonna officially turn the corner, so it's always gonna be chain 2, and then coming back into that space you're gonna put in 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. So now you're gonna work across the other double crochets that are there. There's a total of 3 of them, so there's just gonna be, you can count it if you wish. So 1, 2 and 3, and then you're gonna hit another corner. So the corners will always be as follows. It'll be 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space, followed by chain 2, so that's your official turn, and back into the same space for 2 more double crochets. So 1 and 2. Now you're going to continue around, so just going in 1 into every double crochet that's there. Corner again, so 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So we're coming up all the way around. So we're continuing along. This next corner has 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet, and then you carry on along the next side. See how I'm just turning the project as I go, and then it's just 1 double crochet in each to the next corner. Okay, 2 double crochets in the next one. That's the next chain 2 space, followed by chain 2 and then 2 more double crochets in, just like that. So just carry on. You're on your final side, so you got 3 more double crochets left. I can see that easily because it's such a small sample, but if you can't see how many you have left, it doesn't really matter either, because the fact is that you just have to put 1 in each one of the ones that you do see. So it's not like you have to count, is what I'm saying. So then you're coming all the way to the start, so come back up and slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3, and before you continue on to your next one you have to get yourself to the corner. So slip stitch over to the next one and slip stitch over to the corner, and then you're ready for round number 3. So we've now completed round number 2. So it was a solid going all the way around except for the corners. Of course it'll always be consistent. So you're going to notice then on round number 3 we're going to introduce a gapping. So right now it's right in the very center, so we're going to double crochet into your corner as usual, and then you're going to then put 1, 2, 3 double crochets in a row, chain 1, skip 1 here, and then jump over and then do the others on the other side all the way to the corner, so it's directly right in the middle. So we're gonna do that for all of the sides for round number 3. So let's get started. We're going to chain up 3, so 1, 2, 3 counts as a double crochet, and double crochet back into the same chain 2 space. Now chain 2 to turn the corner, and coming back into the same space you want to double crochet 2 times. So we have all of this to work into as we go. So you can see if you want to follow it along, see, just use your thumbs and you can see there's 1 on each side, there's 2, and there's 3, and right in the center there is 1 left over, and that's the one you're going to skip. So we're gonna do 3 double crochets over. So just double crochet, so 1, 2 and 3. Then you're going to chain 1, skip 1, and then double crochet on the other side of that one, so second one over, and you created your first gapping space, and you're gonna double crochet the remaining of the double crochets that exist on this side. So there is your 3 on the other side of that, and then of course you got your corner, so 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet, and I'll show this to you one more time. Okay, so we're gonna continue. So we're just establishing that gap for the very first time. So you can either use your thumbs and just grab one of each on one side, grab the next one, grab the next one, and there's the one right in the middle that we want to skip, and you can see it's directly in the middle of the group of 3 as well. So we're gonna double crochet 3 times. So 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet the second one over, and there's your next gap right in the middle, and you keep on going like that all the way to the other side. So 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets, and then turn your corner, so 2 double crochet, okay, chain 2 and 2 double crochet. So what I want you to do is that I want you to continue all the way around in the same manner. Put your gapping space right in the middle of each one of these. Okay, and if you're not sure, just reverse the video back in order to get to this section again, just to re-show you, and then I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I'm just gonna be finishing off in just a moment. You can see I have my gapping space on the final side, and then just coming in and then slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3. So we're not ready to go for the next round. Make sure you slip stitch over one to its friend and to the next one right in the chain 2 space, then to begin. So you can see that you have your now gapping spaces right in the centers. Let's go back to the diagram and show you what to do next. So as you now progress, you're going to go in round number 4. So as you continue along, you're just going to look for where the center is, just like you see. So here's the center, what we've already established in round number 3. So when we go to do round number 4, we're going to then split this off. So there's going to be 2 spaces now with a double crochet right in the middle. So I want you to pay attention when you're going to do this, when you see the gapping space, that you have to skip over the double crochet right before it, and then you put in a double crochet and then chain 1. And then you're going to skip over the first double crochet and go into the next one. So this helps establish, so either if you're making the gaps move in one direction, it's always just skipping over the 1 double crochets that you see in order to keep it going. So whether you're going in this direction or that direction, it doesn't matter. You just have to keep watching for that. So as these gaps get further apart from each other, you get more and more double crochets in between them, and it's really quite simple to be able to follow. So let's do round number 4. So let's continue, and I'm going to chain up 3 counts as your first double crochet and then double crochet back in. Okay, and turn the corner, so chain 2 and double crochet twice more into that. So here's the thing. You want to watch for that middle gapping space. So we know that next time, if you look at the diagram, is that the gapping space is going to be over top of this double crochet and over top of this one, and there's a double crochet coming right into the space. So I'm not really counting stitches, I'm just looking to where I need to place. So I'm not really counting stitches, I'm just looking on where to put the stitches. So I'm going to double crochet myself across to where I think I should stop, and I should stop just one before the gap. So let's continue. Just bear with me, folks. I'm trying to show you an easier way to not have to count so much. So I've just crocheted this, and I'm gonna leave this one empty above. Okay, so I'm gonna chain 1 and I'm gonna double crochet into this chain 1 space. So you see that just moved this gapping space over 1. So then I chain 1 and then I skip the next one and I go to the second one over. And so that just split and made the gapping space go in this direction and in that direction, just for visual reasons. And I'm just gonna continue then to go to the end of the corner. I'll show it to you again, no big deal. Coming to the corner, so chain 2, sorry, 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet. Okay, so again, I'm looking for that middle one. I need to split it off, so I need to concentrate on the ones right before the gap and one after the gap. So I'm just gonna double crochet to getting close to where I need to go. I know some of you are gonna say, well, I move your thumb. For myself, I just need to stabilize myself when I'm teaching you here on camera. So I've now got my double crochet. My next one would be over top of this one, but that's where I want my space. I want to chain 1, come into the next chain 1 space and double crochet, chain 1, and I want to skip over this double crochet and go to the one after. So that just made that gapping space then just change into 2. So continue all the way around in the same fashion. I'll see at the end of this round, and we'll just review one more time, and then I'll leave the rest of the square up to you. So I'm coming all the way back to around, and you can see I got my gapping spaces in, just like you see them, the 2 there. And we're going to continue then moving on to the next round. So next round we're just gonna continue out the gapping spaces, and they're gonna be completely split off in the next one. So just a slip stitch to the top of the beginning, chain 3, and you're not quite done. You have to slip stitch over once and twice into the next chain 2 space. Let's pull back the diagram and let's get you started again, and then the rest of this will be up to you to finish. So we're now going to continue on, and this time we are going to be splitting off, and right now we have the two gapping spaces side by side, but next time they're going to be shifting over, one over to this way and then one over this way, so there will be 3 double crochets in a row. Same rule applies, is that when you come across you want to stop just the one before the one underneath it, chain 1, and then come after it into the chain 1 space, into the next double crochet, into the chain 1 space, chain 1, skip over the next one, and etc. So now you're just gonna follow this out. So it's really kind of hard to be able to teach this round by round, because what's gonna happen is that if you just look at this diagram, you can see that each one of these are just really quite simple to follow if you're just following the lines. So just follow the lines, even if you're not comfortable with crochet diagrams, just follow the lines, because it does make sense. And once you see this all working out, you probably will be a pattern diagram reader after this. So without further ado, let's start your next round, and then I'm gonna leave the rest of the rounds for you to come to the diagram, follow it along, and get all the ways to round number 18. Okay, so let's begin again. Chain 3 counts as a double crochet back into the same space, and then chain 2. You're turning a corner. So at least the corners are nice and simple, right? Right. So you're gonna continue now, and you want to split off this gapping space so that they're more this way and this way. So we're gonna have more double crochets in between them. So I want you to double crochet across until you think that you need to stop. So you're gonna stop 2 before the first gap. You can count it if you wish, but if you're confident you really don't need to. So I'm gonna stop to the one before the double crochet before the gap, chain 1, and go right into the gapping space for a double crochet, and I want you to go into this double crochet. I want you to go into the next chain 1 space, and then chain 1, skip the 1, and go to the second one over. So you're paying attention to where the gapping spaces are appearing to get that. So then you go all the way to the corner. So now you have 3 double crochets that separate the gapping spaces in this round. So you see that there's 3. So once you get all the way to 9, then they start going in the other direction. So instead of growing outward, they grow inward. So coming to the corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. Okay, so let's do your next side. So you're gonna double crochet to where you think you need to stop, and it's gonna be the second one before the gapping space anyway. That just gives you kind of an indication on where to stop. So you can see I have 1 more to go, and now I'm going to create extra gaps. So chain 1, skip this one, go to the gap and put in a double crochet, go into the next double crochet, go into the next gap, and then chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet in the other. So that just moved those out. Do you see that? So what I want you to do is that I want you to follow the diagram, and when it doesn't matter if it's going in, or like if it's going outward as a V, or if it's coming inward, you just have to mind where you're jumping over in order to create the look. And it's really quite simple. Just follow that crochet diagram. If you're a word reader, you can follow those words as well, but the diagram is a lot easier to visually see everything that's going on. And then once you get that first one established way back here, then basically everything is gonna line up anyway. So it's actually really quite easy to maintain. So it looks like a fancy pattern. It technically could be, but it's actually really quite easy to be able to maintain. So please do this until you get to round number 18, and then around 18 you're gonna fasten off, and then join me back here next week as we then continue our journey. So this is the only one that's not gonna be textured out of the 4, and this one is the only one really, you gotta really watch that pattern in order to follow these lines, and the rest of them are pretty straightforward from this point. So until next time, have a good one, and we'll see you again on the Stitch Along next week. Bye-bye. So that's it for now. This is your particular square idea. We're gonna move on in week number 2 and do something completely different, something that is really loaded in texture. So these are really kind of a sampler Afghan, and again, that square can make itself into a big size Afghan on its own if you wish. So follow the directions as you see fit, and then just stop in order to make your sampler. But if you're really quite motivated with the squares that you see within the stitch along, you can make those as big as you wish. So until next time, we'll see you again, and it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on week number 2, and week number 2 is just loaded with texture. If you like popcorn stitches, this is filled with popcorn, and you can see that it's just popping out of the square. So this goes along with the first one, and this one has a lot of texture. So when you're looking at the particular photographs for this one, you're going to notice when you look straight down, you don't see it as much as when you see it on an angle and the way that the light hits it. I have to tell you, this square I absolutely love. Now when you look straight down on it, you don't really get that impression, but when you're sitting back and crocheting it, it just literally pops before your eyes. So like all of the squares that we're going to do, you can make this as big as you need to. Once you understand the repeat pattern of the popcorns, it's every third row that the popcorn appears, and then you know that there's going to be an additional 4 popcorns per side. It's really quite easy. So if you want to make this into a full-size blanket, you can do so. Remember with popcorns or anything like that, even like the crocodile stitch, it's a bit of a yarn pig when you're going to do that. But here you're going to use your 1 ball of Caron 1 pound yarn in order to make this, and you won't need additional balls if you're doing it this particular size. So this is only 18 rounds, but this is still quite fabulous. You see it's quite a large square, and this goes along with your neighbors. So let's talk a little bit more about this pattern. So it's about popcorns, right? Very easy to maintain. This one, because there's popcorn, there's more work involved in order to make the pop. So that's pretty relevant, and it's really not hard to maintain either. So we're going to start off with a circle, and then it's going to transition out to a square. And then once we go to the square, it's going to then line up to all of its neighbors all the way through the project. Again, like the last one, there's only 18 rounds in order to do it. So the first time that the popcorns appear when it's in a square will be 4 popcorns, and then the next time it appears there will be an additional 4, and then continuing on additional 4 and additional 4, and if you're counting those out right, very quick and easy to be able to maintain. The only thing you need to watch for this one is that on the very corners of how to identify where to put in your extra stitches right in the corners, and I'm going to be showing you that in the tutorial as well. So without further ado, let's head on down to the studio and let's get you started on the popcorn square that is part of your sampler. So let's take a look at week number 2. We have the popcorn square, and we have popcorns jumping out all over the place. It looks really quite cool, and there's actually a repetitive pattern to do it, so it's not like you have to read a pattern a lot in order to make this happen. I'm going to take you around the very center. We're going to take you for a spin around there, and then once you can see the established pattern, I'm going to leave the rest for you. There's only 18 rounds in order to do this one too, and you're going to need a 5mm size H crochet hook in order to play. So like last time, we have a crochet diagram that's available to you, and it's really quite simple to be able to follow. We're going to start off in the very center, and we're going to rotate in a counterclockwise position as we're reading this, and once you can see you get to the square, you can see that every third round we end up popcorning. Now I did highlight these 2, these 2, these 2, and these 2, because what happens is that every time you're progressing, so you see 4 here, you see 4 here, but then there's 2 added to this side and 2 to that side, and then when you go up, there's 2 added to this side, 2 added to that side. It's an easy way to keep count. So you want to keep an eye on the counts of your popcorn as you're circling around to make sure that you're getting it and getting the right number. If you're not getting the right number, something is clearly wrong in your stitching, but really you should not have that problem at all if you're following it as you see here. So let's take an even closer look at the diagram, and let's see what we're looking at. So before I zoom right into the very starting here, everything that is involved in this particular pattern is in stitch key. So we have chaining, slip stitch, half double crochet, treble, we have double treble, we have triple treble as well, and then we also have popcorns that are here. So everything that you see is involved in here, and we also have instructions on the first page on anything that you need to know in order to accomplish these stitches as well. So it's actually really quite easy to follow. I'll be showing you those right off the bat. But as we get started here, we're going to be able to get you started so that you can get the repeat pattern on this and then just continue along without really much worry about that at all. So I'm zoomed in, and what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4 and we're going to rotate in a counterclockwise position as we read it, and we're going to put in a set number of double crochets, and then we're going to continue and chain up, and the next row we're going to put 2. Now the popcorns, what we really want to watch for is the popcorn. We're going to establish it in and then chain 1, and then we double crochet into the next one. So you can see that we popcorn into the next, and then we chain 1 and then double crochet into the next, and you can see that's all kind of following. So we want to really watch for the next round in number 4 is that we're going to double crochet on top of the popcorn, and in this chain 1 space we're going to put 2 double crochets in there in order to keep the established row. I guess the hardest part would be round number 5 to make sure that you get yourself into a square. I'm going to take you a close-up of an example of that, but once you get really beyond number 6, it's just 1 2 3 1 2 3, and you just have to watch out then for the number of popcorns that are in the edges as you're working your way upward. So let's take a look at the pattern now. So here's my sample. We're gonna start off in the middle. You can see it's nice and tight the way that we chained our 4 and then we double crocheted back in and went around, and you can see that these popcorns are really jumping up. In certain yarns this will be very obvious, and depending on what angle that you look at it too, it's really quite stunning to look at those. So really the hardest round would be then to transition this circle then into a square, which is really not hard. You just got to count your stitches, and then once we get to here, then basically every third row we're going to add more popcorns, and you can see that you had 4 right in the very beginning, and then you end up with the 2 extra on this side, and you follow it up on this side and you have 2 extra on that side, and then as you work it up it'll have 2 more extra on the one side and 2 more on the other side. So just be conscientious about just quickly counting your popcorns as you get across. Make sure that you get the right number and that it's increasing by 4 popcorns every time that you're doing this per side. So I guess let's grab our crochet hook and let's not talk anymore and let's get started. So let's begin round number 1. We're going to chain up 4 and then we're going to put 11 double crochets that equal a total of 12. So the skipping that you just did, so when you go to double crochet the first time in the very first chain, this one also counts as a double crochet, so you end up with the number of 12. So let's begin that for round number 1. So let's create a slip knot and let's chain a number 4. So we're gonna go 1 2 3 and 4, and this is going to count as 1 double crochet. So we're going to go to the very starting chain, so to count it, it's the 4th one back, and you're going to double crochet a total of 11 times. So let's just say that this is the second double crochet because the first one is already there. So let's say that's number 2 and continue along and double crochet in. This is number 3, this is number 4, and crochet right up over top of that starting strand as well. Get that buried in there. Let's double crochet again. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's make sure that there is 12 in there, so just count the number of posts that you have. So you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. Once you're satisfied, just slip stitch to the top of the first one that you had, the first chain, and just slip and slip, and there is your 12. Now if you've been burying this yarn in, why not get rid of that now? Get that out of your way, less tails to deal with later, and trim it right out. So let's begin round number 2. Let's begin round number 2. It's pretty straightforward. I don't need to really take you back to the diagram because you've kind of already seen it and for this round. So you're just gonna chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and in the same one that you did the join, I want you to double crochet one more time. So this round is really straightforward. Every stitch around is going to be 2 double crochets into it. So 1 and 2, and do that all the way around. So you should have 12 sets of 2 going all the way around. Please do that all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round. So I now have my 12 sets of 2. Just to be aware, this is not a stitch that you're seeing here. This is part, and see how it's kind of leaning towards that one? This is not a stitch. A lot of people do that and then they end up screwing up the number of counts. So make sure that you don't think that's a stitch. It's not. The last one's there. So you should have 12 sets of 2 going all the way around, and let's slip stitch it to the top of the beginning chain 3 and see how you just finished it. It just closed it in. It's not 100% perfect, but that is crochet for you. That's the nature of the beast. We're gonna go back to the diagram now. Let's get you introduced to the popcorns for the very first time. So back to the diagram we're going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then we're going to popcorn into the next stitch. Then going to chain 1 and double crochet into the next stitch. Then we immediately popcorn into the next stitch and then chain 1 and double crochet into the next stitch, and we're gonna do that all the way around. There's gonna be a total of 12 popcorns going all the way around and 12 double crochets that separate those popcorns out. So let's begin to do that for round number 3. So let's begin round number 3. We're going to chain up 3, which counts as your first double crochet, and immediately into the next stitch that's right here. You can see this is part of this one. We're going to do a popcorn. How we do a popcorn is going to be the same for the entire video. So we're going to wrap the hook and we're going to double crochet 5 times into the next stitch. So just double crochet 5 times as normal, and it almost will appear like a shell. So there's lots in there. This is what's giving the texture. So once you get 5 in there, you're going to just drop the loop. Don't pull up any extra yarn. You don't need to. You're gonna go to the very first double crochet that you did of the group of 5 and insert into the top of the stitch. You're then going to grab that loop like so and then pull it through. That's one popcorn. So in order to move to the next stitch, we have to chain 1 first, and we're going to be double crocheting into the next round. So we immediately just go to the next double crochet that's available to you. If you have to move this out of the way to see it, you can do that, and then just double crochet. Okay, so we don't chain 1 after this. We only chain 1 when we get a popcorn done to move to the double crochet. We don't chain 1 to popcorn into the next. So immediately popcorn into the next. So there's 5 double crochets, so we'll count those out together. So 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, and drop the loop, go into the first one of the group of 5, grab the loop. I'm going slower than I normally would, and then just pull it through. Chain 1 and double crochet into the next one that's available to you. I'm gonna show that to you one more time, and then I'm gonna let the rest of the row go for you. So immediately popcorn into the next one. So 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Drop the loop, go into the beginning one of the 5, pull through, chain 1 and double crochet into the next. So I want you to do that all the way around for this round, and you're gonna see these starting to pop out right in front of your face for this round. So I'm just coming all the way around. I just finished the popcorn. Don't forget that you need to chain 1 first, and you're going to join it then to the top of the first chain 3 that you had started with. So there should be a total of 12 popcorns that are standing right in front of your face right now. So you'll be able to count those going all the way around, and we're gonna go back to the diagram and show you what to do next. So let's begin the next round, round number 4. So we're going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet into the next one, which is the top of the popcorn. We're then in the chain 1 space going to apply 2 double crochets in, and then the next double crochet in popcorn is just 1 double crochet by itself, and then the next chain 1 space is 2. So you're really concentrating on these chain 1 spaces to have 2 double crochets, and then there's 2 double crochets that sit by themselves all the way around. So the 2 double crochets going into the chain 1 space allows the growth to happen so that we can convert to a square in the next round. So let's begin this round, round number 4. So let's begin round number 4. We're going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and in the top of the popcorn, so just lean it forward if you can't see it, just in the top of the popcorn you are going to apply 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet in the top of the popcorn. In the next chain 2 space, just kind of like peel back the popcorn, and you can see it. It's right here. Okay, so here's the double crochet, here's the popcorn. Just peel it out of the way if you can't see it, and place in 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. So there is your 2 into the same one. So the next double crochet is a double crochet by itself, The next top of the popcorn, just peel it back if you can't see it, it's right there, is 1 double crochet. And now just peel the popcorn the other way and you can see the chain 1 space and you're gonna put 2 double crochets there. So 1 and 2. I'll show it to you one more time. So on the top of the first double crochet it's gonna be 1 double crochet. The top of the popcorn, just peel it back if you can't see it, is 1 double crochet, and then just peel the popcorn the other way for the chain 1 space, and there will be 2 into that one. Please do that same idea going all the way around. When you get all the way around, I've just got my 2 that are by themselves, so 1 and 2, and the final space, the chain 1 space, will have 2 double crochets in it. 1 and 2, and that keeps it in line with the pattern, and you're going to join to the top of the beginning chain 3 to finalize. So that's what it looks like right now. It should be laying relatively flat for you. If your tension is wrong, then it will be all really buckled, but it should be able to lay flat like it does here on camera. So let's move along. We're going to then transition to a square next. Let's take our time doing that. So let's begin to transition to a square. We're going to make ourselves get bigger right on the very corners to be able to get that distance that we need away from the circle. We're going to chain up 6, which counts as a triple treble, and in the same one we want to do a double treble. Then we're going to start advancing and we're gonna do 1 stitch into each, and we're gonna get smaller as we get closer to the middle and then expand back out. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to just get ourselves with 2 double crochets, 4 half doubles, 2 doubles, and then we have a treble crochet again, and then we have a double treble, and then a triple treble, and then chaining 2, and we do the same thing coming down the other side. So it's about keeping just an eye on what stitches you're using, and then once we get this done the pattern's pretty much easier to follow from this point. So let's begin to do this next. So let's begin. We're going to chain up 6, which is counting as a triple treble. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now we're going to do a double treble. So to do a double treble you have to wrap the hook 3 times. So wrap and wrap and wrap, and going exactly into the same spot where that chaining 6 is coming out of. I want you to insert in and pull through, and you're gonna continue to pull through 2 all the way back up to the top. So pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and 2, like that. So now we're going to advance to the next stitch right here, and what we're going to make that to be is a regular treble crochet. So we're gonna wrap only twice, and you're going to go into that stitch, the next one, and pull through 2 and 2 and 2. So the next 2 in a row will each be a double crochet. So wrap only once and make those a double crochet, 1 in each. The next 4 in a row will each be a half double crochet. So wrap and then pull through all 3 loops. And now we're gonna progressively get bigger again so that we can get ourselves to the next corner. So the next 2 will each be a double crochet. Okay, and then the next one is going to be a treble. So wrap the hook twice and going into the next stitch, and the very next one is your corner spot. So to do that one here we got to do a double treble first. So we got to wrap that hook 3 times this time, going into the next stitch, pull through 2, 2, 2, and 2, just like you see, and then we're going to do a triple treble. So wrap the hook 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and into the same one. So as we advance around then to the next side, we have to be conscientious of something. The square corners of this particular one in this round is not sharing the same one as these 2. So now the first side is complete and we're going to start on the next one, but in order to turn the corner we have to chain 2 first, and then we advance to the next stitch to start the other side of the corner. So it's not like the same stitch is sharing all of the corner. So the next one is gonna advance. So you're gonna start off with the biggest one, so triple treble. So just wrap the hook 4 times. Okay, and then coming in, and then just coming all the way back up to the top, just pull through 2s until you get back to the top. And then the next one is going to be wrapping the hook 3 times. It's a double treble. ensuring into the same one. And now the next one is a treble, so wrap only twice. And then the next two are each a double crochet. Okay, and now the next four right in the middle are halves, doubles. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the next two in a row are each a double crochet. So 1 and 2. And then the next one is a double treble, so wrap twice. And then we start the next corner. So the first one then will be a double treble, so wrap the hook 3 times. Okay, and we're gonna finish that corner, so wrap the next one 4 times, and that is a triple treble. All the way back to the top. It's a long way. And now we're going to chain 2 and then officially turn the corner and advance to the next one. So don't forget we're at the triple treble first, wrapping the hook 4 times, going into the next one, and then the next one is going to be a double treble, so wrap only 3 times. Okay, and then we start going down again. So what I want you to do, you can fast or reverse this video back to the start of this row that we just did, or this side, and then it's exactly the same all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round as we go to do that. Don't forget to chain your 2s in the middle. This is actually take number 2 because I kind of forgot that the first time, so just don't forget to do that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So as you're coming up all the way around, don't forget the very last stitch is the other side of this first corner, and remember we have to double treble, so wrap in the hook 3 times first, and then triple treble, so 4 times. And then what we need to do is that we need to chain 2 at the end of this, 1, 2, and join it to the top of the first one that we had way over here. So that's what it should look like right now, and once you kind of just give it a little bit of a stretch, it should lay down flat on you. And then we're going to then move on and do round number 6. So back to the diagram we go. We're going to go round number 6. So you're gonna see that this the slip stitching that we do is going to go up here, so it's not gonna go following the corners, it's gonna go right up. So we're going to then just chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and we're gonna double crochet in the next, and then we're gonna popcorn. Please note that you're not chaining 1 after a popcorn like you did down here. It's just a straight popcorn, and then you're just double crocheting the next 2 and then popcorn. The nice thing about this is every time you see this in the rows above, it'll be popcorn, and then the next 2 are double crochets and then popcorn. So it's really quite easy to maintain in order to do so. So let's begin to do round number 6. Let's begin round number 6. We're going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then we're gonna double crochet right into the next one. So you're gonna see this is really gonna form the square if it hasn't already. So the next one is going to be a popcorn, so it's exactly what you already have been taught. So it's gonna be 5 double crochets into the same one. So this is 2, 3, 've lost count here. That's now 4, and this is my 5th. Once I get my 5th, just drop the loop, go into the first one of the group of 5, pull it through, and then you don't chain 1 after it, just peel it back if you can't see it, but it's the next double crochet that's right beside it, and that's where you're gonna double crochet into next, just like that. So then you double crochet into the next one after that, and then popcorn into the next one after that. So the popcorn is gonna be 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, drop it, go into the beginning one of the group of the 5, pull it through, and then double crochet again into the next 2, and the next one's a popcorn again. So there's a total of 4 popcorns going across each side on this round. So next time we come back to this is that it's going to be 8. So each each side grows by 4 popcorns in the rows above when we go to do that. So I got my 5 in there, drop it, pick it up, double crochet in the next 2. So I can see right now how many popcorns do I have. I can see that I have 3, so I'm gonna popcorn again. I'm just following this the diagram as well. Okay, release it, pull it through, and then here is the final 2. So there's 2 left before I hit a corner. Now how do I know that's really right? But when we chained up 3 and then we double crocheted into the next one, that left 2 right up from the very edge on the other side. So I know that I'm right on this. So to turn a corner is always gonna be the same regardless on what round you're on. Now from going forward, there will always be 2 double crochets right into that chain 2 space, and then you'll make a chain 2 and 2 double crochets right into the same space, like so. So let's just get you started on the next side. So the first 2, and you can see this in the diagram, they're each going to be 1 double crochet each. So 1 and 2, and then you're going to popcorn into the next, and then that'll get you started. So you do popcorn and then 2 double crochets in a row, and then a popcorn again, and etc. And you do that all the way around. Just make sure that you handle the corners exactly what I just said with 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets right into the chain 2 space. So once you get your 5 there, just drop it, pick it up, and make it pop, and then 2 double crochets after that. Okay, so just follow that same idea going all the way around. These popcorns are really no big deal, but because you're putting 5 double crochets into 1 stitch, it takes a little bit longer to get around, but the effect after it's done is amazing. So please continue that same patterning going all the way around. So as we come to the final corner, remember the final corner is not been done at all, so we're gonna put in our 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet into the same one. So then we're going to then slip stitch ourselves to the top of the first chain 3. So I want you to pay attention to 2 things. Right now you see that there's 2 double crochets that are in between the idea of this popcorn before it starts. On the other side there was 2 double crochets after the popcorn, and then the corner is in. If you can understand that, it makes this a lot easier to be able to follow. So let's go back to the diagram real quick. So back to the diagram we go. So the next 2 rounds are straight double crochets all the way around. Again in the corners it's 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets into there. So you're gonna do 2 rounds. So you basically get 2 holiday rounds, and then you're back to the popcorn again. Just like we started before, when we go to chain up, we're going to be starting right here, and then we just chain up 3, double crochet into the next, and then popcorn, and then we continue all the way around, and then we're gonna continue in that same fashion. So just kind of follow it around. As you're getting all the way back around, this time because you're further away from the starting slip stitch, you're going to turn the corner, and just remember that there's always going to be these 2 double crochets that are sitting by themselves before you have the double crochet happen. So you have the corner, these 2 double crochets, corner, there's 2 double crochets, you'll see it again, and that helps you be able to maintain that. And then you're going to just ending up with a popcorn right before the last chain 3, and that's gonna happen every time that you end up with that later on down the road. So I'm going to leave the rest of this for you. This is part of your challenge. So you're just gonna chain up 3, and then you can double crochet all the way around in order to make this work, and then you'll be introduced to the popcorn after the 3 rounds. So let me just take you back to the sample and just quickly review. So I'm here back at the sample. I just left you here. So you're gonna have 2 rounds of double crochet, and then the popcorns will go. This is the slip stitching line going all the way up that you see all the way to the end. So just keep an eye on the number of popcorns that you have. So this time it's 4. There'll be additional 2 right up, and then when you move back up you'll just follow it up, and you'll see that there is an additional 2 after this set Okay, so just kind of watch for that. Keep an eye on the count, especially on this last round. It tends to work out just fine on the other three. It's because you're slip stitching midway up. Sometimes it can be easy just to make sure that you get all of your popcorns in. If you don't get all your popcorns in, something is missing and therefore it won't align. The total size that you see here is about 23 inches. All of my squares are about 23 inches. Of course, if your tension is different, if you're looser or tighter, you'll have a different size, but if you use the same yarn and the same size hook, it really doesn't matter too much. If your project is buckling, then it's something to do with the yarn and the tension. So maybe the yarn you chose and the hook is not working for you. So if it's all crumpling up on you, the chances are that your hook is too small or if the yarn is not in alignment with that. So that's just a kind of a neat idea. So get this done. You only need to do one of these, and I think this is the most labor intensive one of all three. Wait till you see next week. Next week is gonna blow your socks off. I love next week. And then the final week, number 4, is actually the easiest one of all 4, which is pretty much a holiday one. So let's continue along with our stitch along, and we'll see you again real soon. So that's it for now. Get this done and then meet me back here next week, and then we're going to carry on to week number 3. This one here is the most labor intensive of all of the squares, so it gets easier time wise from this particular point in your stitch along. So we'll see you next week, and I hope you have a good one. And it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. This is week number 3 as we continue our Stitch Sampler Afghan together. So this is for the crochet along. This is a mystery, but this is what it looks like here. And I love this square. Of all the squares other than the popcorn square, this one here has got a bit of popcorn, but it's also got cable work on the horizontal and vertical axis right down the center. So easy to maintain. I'm really motivated by this one in order to make it as big as I want to. So let's talk a little bit about this. So like the rest of the squares, this can be made as big as you need it to get. So for example, there's only 18 rounds in order to do this for this actual stitch sampler, but you can expand this once you understand that repeat patterning going on, especially in the cable work itself. The corners are all identical to each other, so that's something you don't really have to think about, but the cable work is very easy to maintain in order to get that crisscross look. I love this particular square. I think they did a great job, and I think you can make this into a really fabulous idea going in the future with different size squares. So this goes along with your stitch along. I guess the only thing that you need to watch for is just get yourself started with the cable work. The corners are really quite easy to maintain. They're just popcorns, popcorn chain 2 popcorn, and it is really quite a lot of fun. And just pay attention to the corners on this particular one because there are popcorns in the corner. It can get a little bit dicey at times, but I wouldn't say that would be a deal breaker because once you can identify where to put your hook, it really kind of works out. So I'll take you back down to the studio now and we'll get started on week number 3. So here's what it looks like straight down. From the straight down, you really don't get the idea of how much texture there really is because once you get the light to bang off it, it's awesome. Of the squares, I love this one the most, and it's actually not hard. And in fact, I finished this quicker than I ever expected because I'm so excited about the twisting action of the cable work that you just want to keep it, seeing it twist and twist. And I can see more people doing this as a full-size Afghan, just this square alone. So we're going to be introducing again popcorns right in the corners that you see, and then we're going to be doing our cable work, and there's 4 cables going up from the center just right straight out. Now I'm going to take you to the pattern because I want to show you a little bit what is consistent and where I think you're going to screw up the most. If you know where to screw up, then you know then you know what to avoid in the future. So let's begin to do that next. So here's a copy of the pattern, and you can find this pattern in the more information link of this video, and you're going to be able to go around in the center. So we're starting off our centers like we did for the rest of them. There's only 18 rounds like there was with the rest of the squares for the stitch along. So we're going to go around and have 2 circles, and then we're going to convert to a square and then just go once around as a regular square, and then we start the fun action of doing the cable work and the popcorns along the corner. So I've been very strategic about my highlighting because the highlighting actually is going to show you where I think that you're going to screw up. So if you know where not to screw up, then it's awesome. And what I'm going to do next is decipher with you on where I think that you should watch the most. So pulling back, what you're going to do is that I want you to watch these popcorns right in the corner. So you'll notice that I highlighted the one here on this side of the pattern and I highlighted the other one on this side. Where I think you're going to screw up and lose stitches is if you're not paying attention, because the popcorns add a lot of bulk to the actual project. And what happens is that the top of the first popcorn can get buried underneath this bulk, and so you just gotta shift it out of the way so that you can get the top of the popcorns with putting in 2 double crochets. So if anywhere that you're going to screw up will be right here when you're going to start your thing. So if you're missing stitches, I would look to this section right here as you're working your way up. Now what we have here is the cable work. Let me show you that. So let's get back to the very center of your project and we're going to chain up 4 and then we're going to do 11 double crochets all the way around. So this chaining of the additional 3 that you had there will give you number 12, and then we're gonna work our way out. The next time there'll be 2 in the same one, and then we're gonna convert ourselves to a square and then do a regular square, and then we're gonna start off then with doing the cable work as you see. So the cable work that you're going to see up here, we're gonna start our popcorn edges at that point. So I'm going to just go take you through quickly through 1 through 4, and then we'll come back to the diagram and then review. So let's begin. We're gonna start off with a slip knot and then we're going to chain a total of 4. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now in the 4th one from the hook, the very beginning one, we want to put 11 double crochets into that one. So we're just gonna double crochet, and so that chaining that you just skipped counts as 1. So you technically have 2, so I would count 2 at this point and just say the next one is 3 and keep going around. Bury that straggler in over top. Okay, so just go right up over it and that'll get us stuck. So you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Once you have your 12 in there, just verify because it makes a difference. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Join it to the beginning that you had. So now you have a round circle, and because you buried in that other straggler, get rid of it now, get it out of your hair, and then we're gonna move on then to round number 2. Going to round number 2, we're gonna chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then into the same one that you did that coming from, to put another double crochet. So each one of the stitches all the way around, okay, so that's part of this one that you see. So we jump to the next one, and that's gonna be 2 double crochets. So each stitch is gonna get 2 double crochet in it. So 1 and 2. Okay, go to the next one, 1 and 2. Please go all the way around putting 2 double crochets in each stitch. There should be 12 groups of 2. So now come all the way around and I have 12 groups of 2. Don't forget this one here that's leaning over is part of that one. People assume that's a stitch left over and they fill it in. If you do that, then you'll end up with the wrong count. So make sure that you have 12 groups of 2 and then just join to the top of the first one to finish. Let's begin round number 3. Round number 3, we're going to chain up 4, which counts as a treble this time. And in the very same one, I want you to put a double crochet. So watch how we go across this until we get to the next corner. So the next one, the next stitch is going to be a double crochet, and then the next 2 are each a half double crochet. So we're converting to a square. So 1 and 2. The next one will be a double crochet. So we're getting bigger, going back to the corner, and then the next one is part of one corner. So there's actually 2 stitches that make up a corner. So the next stitch is 1/2 of the corner, and the first one is going to be a double crochet, and in the same one you're going to do a treble. So you're gonna wrap twice and going into the same one, and then you can officially turn the corner with chaining up 2. So even in the popcorn corners, it'll always be chain 2. So chain 2, come to the next stitch then, and you're gonna start the first one with the treble, and in the same one you want to put a double into the same one, and then work your way across. So the next one is 1 double by itself, the next 2 are a half double, Okay, the next one is going to be a double as we make our way to the next corner, and then the next one is the first one of the corner. So there's gonna be a double crochet and then a treble into the same one, and then do you remember how to turn a corner? It's by chaining 2. So 1 and 2, and then come to the next stitch. So the first one's a treble and then a double into the same one, and that gets you that corner that you want. The next one is a double by itself, a double crochet. The next 2 are halves. The next one is a double, and then the next one is your first part of the corner again. So the next one makes it a double crochet, treble into the same one, chain 2 to turn, and come into the next one to start. So you start with the treble first, and into the same one you want to put a double. Okay, the next one is a double by itself. The next 2 are half doubles. The next one is a double crochet, and you have 1 stitch left. Okay, you can see that the corner's here. So you have 1 stitch left, so the first one must be this must be the last corner. So it's a double first, then a treble, and then to finish off you chain 2, and then you join it to the top of the first chain 4 that you started with, and that is officially going from a circle to a square. So let's move on, and we are going to do 1 round then of just regular double crochets, and then we're gonna start then after that to begin to do your cable work. So right where you are, you want to chain up 3, so it counts as a double crochet, and that's part of this first stitch. So then you're just gonna double crochet in each one of the double crochets that are there. Okay, or each one of the stitches I should say, because the ones that get close to the corner are a treble, but you're still just gonna double crochet in each stitch going across to the first corner, and you know you're at the first corner by the chain 2 space that will separate it. Okay, so the chain 2 space is next. So what's gonna happen here is that there's gonna be 2 double crochets first, then chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, and that's how you officially turn the corner in this round. So you're gonna start off with your first stitch here, and you're just gonna double crochet in each stitch going all the way across to the next corner, and when you get to the next corner again 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and work your way all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round. So as you come to the final corner, remember that you started up and this was the matching stitch, so we have a complete empty corner to work out. So you're just gonna finish it off with the 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet into the same spot, and then you're officially done. So then you're going to slip stitch then to the beginning of the top chaining 3 to complete the round, and then we're gonna go back to the diagram now, because now we're ready to do cables and popcorns. So we're now ready to go, and we're gonna start off and we're gonna do some cable work now. We're gonna get it ready because we're gonna do a crisscross in the next round after this. So we're just gonna chain up 3 as you can see, and then the first 6 here are gonna be a front post treble. So there's 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then there's 3 that are left after it, and then you do a popcorn for a corner. So again, we want to just make sure that we go all the way around. Where you're gonna screw up the most is making sure that you get these stitches that are right after a popcorn. Okay, so right after a popcorn is right here. You just want to make sure that you don't forget about these stitches here. So we're just gonna work our way around, and then the next round we're gonna do a crisscross, and this is not hard. It's just a matter of just paying attention to your stitch work. So as you begin then the next section here, you're gonna have 3 in a row, and then the next 6, and then 3 after that, and then popcorns. So please do this for this round, and let's get started. So let's begin round number 5. We're gonna chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and now the next 6 in a row are each gonna be a front post treble. So we're gonna wrap the hook twice, and then coming into the next stitch here, just come to the side of the post and then out the other side of the post. Wrap it, pull through 2, 2, and 2, and that's gonna lift that stitch up. So wrap the hook twice and go into the next one, and you're gonna do this for 6 in a row. This is a front post treble, so wrapping twice, going into the side of the stitch or the post, and then coming out. So I'm looking to count the number 6. So this is really gonna get you established with your pattern for the cable work. As I told you already, 6 is your magic number for the cable work. So you can see you got 5. Remember that this chaining up 3 was a double crochet, and now here's your 6th. And as soon as those 6 are done, you're gonna return back to a double crochet, and there just happens to be 3 left in this round. So 1, 2 and 3. Now to turn the corners, we're gonna do popcorns, and they're the same as what you did in week number 2. So wrapping the hook, and I want you to put 5 double crochets in first. So 1 and go right into the space, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So in the group of 5, you want to just drop your hook like you did in week number 2, come into the first one of the group of 5 out through the back and put the loop back on and pull it through. And in this case I want you to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and just move all this popcorn, just shift it out of the way and do another popcorn there. So this is where it gets really tight in here to do that kind of popcorn layers in the corner. And you want to start with 5 double crochets first. Okay, so you got your 5 in there. There's a group of 5. Drop the loop, go into the first group, one of the 5, pull it through. So what you have to just do now, there's no chaining after you get this popcorn done. You immediately start. Do you see how this is partially covering up this front one? That's why I'm telling you that I think if you're gonna screw up your counts, you're gonna probably jump to the one that you can see. Just pull it out of the way so you can see it, and then just come into the top of the next one, and there's gonna be 3 in a row that are gonna be each double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. So the next 6 in a row are each gonna be a front post treble. So we're just wrapping that hook twice and just coming into the front post. And just keep an eye in there. So there's 4 done so far. 5 and 6. So then that should technically leave you with 3 stitches left, and there is to the corner. So the next 3 in a row are just double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to show you the corner one more time. The corners are always the same on all of these rows now going right up. The exception is the very last row is that you don't do a popcorn in the last row. So you're going to then just double crochet 5 times into that space. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Drop it, pick it up and push and chain 2, shift it out of the way. So just pull it out of the way and do another group of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Drop it and get the first one of the group of 5, pull it through. Again, see how this is partially covering that front one? Just pull it out of the way and make sure you get that top one, and again there's 3 in a row. So what I want you to do is that I want you to go all the way around using what you already know. You're not gonna see the trebles popping out too much at this point, but you will definitely see it in the next round. So please do that all for the remaining, and I'll see you at the end where we're gonna join it. So make sure you even do the last corner because it has to be done as well. So please do this and I'll see you back in a moment. So I'm coming to my final corner. It's already done. I'm just shifting. Remember that the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so there should only be 2 double crochets that are exposed that should be left. And then we're going to then move up and do the next round, and this round now has crisscrossing that's involved. So you just, once you get your 2 in there, just slip stitch it to the top of the first chain 3, and that's what it should look like at this point. So you have some 3D texture going on. These front post trebles really are not jumping out yet, but they will in the next round. So let's begin to do the next round of crisscrossing. So let's begin to do the next round. So we're going to chain up 3. So this is gonna happen every time that we do a crisscross. So let's just chain 3. So to do the crisscross we have to expose and reach ourselves to and skip over the first group of the front post trebles. So the first group is in 3. So just think about it, this is 3 and 3. Okay, there's a total of 6. So wrapping the hook twice, I want you to jump to the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th. Okay, this is the first of the group of 3 on this side, and I want you to treble. So 1, and then go and do the next one. That's right beside it. Okay, and then do the next one. So now you have the 3 that you just skipped over that you can still see here. So now you're gonna go to the first one of the group of 3, so it's all the way back. You're gonna wrap the hook, come from the front side because it's easier, and then just come in and then just grab that post like that, and then finish your stitch as you normally would. Okay, then you're gonna come to the next one that's in a row. So wrapping it, and once you do the first one the other ones get easier to manipulate. And then do the final third one. So these just got placed in front of the other ones that you crossed over. And now you immediately jump to the next double crochet that is available to you over here. And just double crochet in it, and that kind of pulls it over. So you can see how I was talking about how these get compressed in, but once you get to the next round I'll show you how to fix that and make sure that you know what you're looking at. And you're gonna double crochet yourself to the corner. Now because there's popcorns involved at this particular point is that when you get to a top of a popcorn, which is right here, there's going to be 2 double crochets in there. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to do a popcorn right into this chain 2 space. We're gonna do 2 of them and make sure that we chain 2 in between each of them. So right into the corner space let's just put in a popcorn. So it's 5 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so drop it, go to the first one in the group of 5, pick it up. Now you're gonna chain 2 and you're gonna do another popcorn in there. So you just shift it out of the way, just pull it out of the way and then put another group of 5 in there. And you're gonna make another popcorn. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Drop it, go into the first one and pull through. So you don't chain after these popcorns once they're done. And then what I want you to do is pay attention. See how this one here, this is the double crochet, the first one of the double crochet and then a popcorn. So this section belongs to here. So we have to shift this out of the way. This is what I'm talking about for a lot of going on. So you shift it out of the way and you expose the hole on top of this first popcorn and you're gonna place 2 double crochets in there. So 1 and 2. And now you're gonna work your way until you get to a front post treble. So you're just going to double crochet the remaining until you get there. So 1, 2, and 3, and then that's it. So 1, 2, 3, just like you see. Okay, so now this is the front post trebles that you want to work with, and you want to cross over again. So you're gonna wrap over and skip to the 4th one. So there's gonna do that and you're gonna go in the front post. So it's a front post treble. Wrap it again twice, go into the next one after that and do a front post treble. And then do it again. So 3 in a row. And now you're just gonna peel it back and now you're gonna go to the very first one, wrap, and then just manipulate it and come around and do the post. First one's always kind of the hardest, if you want to say it's hard. And then the next one after that. And then finally the next one after that. And then once you have your 3 done, you can see it's overlaying, and then you're gonna come to the next double crochet and work your way to a corner. So you're making your way all the way to the next corner and you're just double crocheting after you've done your crisscross. Don't forget in the top here in the final popcorn here, you're going to put 2 double crochets so that it expands the square, and then you start with your popcorn again right in the very corner, and then chain 2 and then popcorn, and then just make sure that you do get the top of the popcorn with putting 2 more double crochets in, and then working your way over to do the crisscross as you already know how to do. So I'll see you on the way all the way back around, and then we'll move up and then carry on in the pattern. So I'm coming all the way back around. I've just finished my last corner, and now I put my 2 in there on the top of this popcorn. And remember that we are not slip stitching on the corners, we're just maintaining this line going straight up. You're gonna get your last one in, and then just kind of pull this back and get the top of that first chain 3 that you had started with on this side. And then it's gonna look like it's out of place, but once you get all the way back around, it's not going to. So let's go back to the pattern. Let's quickly review, and then we're gonna have 2 rounds of front post trebles, and then we do the crossovers then once again, which I've just showed you how to do. So for the next round, we're just gonna do a front post treble, and I'm gonna show you how to peel these back so that you can see them. And then the next one is a front post treble, and then you cross again, and then the next 2 are front post trebles, and then you cross again. The next 2 are front post trebles, and then you cross, and then the final ones here is that there's 2 front post trebles in a row, and then the very final is just regular double crochet going all the way around. And I want you to pay attention that even on the corners in the very last round, it's just 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, 2 over top of the popcorn as usual, and then you're just maintaining what you'll already see. So let's show you how to go back to the front post trebles again, and then I'm gonna leave the rest for you to be able to do for the crochet stitch along. So let's begin the next round. We're gonna chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet. It's not part of this cable work. And now the next 3 are front post trebles. So you don't really see them because they're stuck in behind. So you have to peel these back out of the way, and you can see them right there. 1, 2, and 3. See? So just move these out of the way and you can see them. So let's do this. So we're gonna wrap. We're gonna come into our first and do a front post treble, and that's gonna make it jump forward. You're gonna do the next one, and the third one is really buried in there, so don't be afraid to peel back that stitch work so you can see it, and then just see it right there. Okay, so I've been doing this long enough that I can see it. So there you see it. Okay, and now the next 3 in a row you can already see these 3 that are leaning over. Those are just front post trebles as well. So the way that the crisscrossing works, even though it looks like this thing is weaving in and out of each other, it's just more of a visual thing than anything. And then once you get these 6 done, you're ready to move on. So you see how that filled in that space? It was a big gap, the ugly gap there before. It's gone. So now you're just gonna double crochet yourself to the corner again. So you're only really worrying about those middle 6 that you have. You can see that I'm really not counting. I don't need to. I'm just looking for the stitch. This is over top of the popcorn, so there must be 2 double crochets there. And then you're just gonna do your popcorn again into the corner. So let's do that. There's groups of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Drop it, go to the first one of the 5, pick it back up, pull it through, chain 2, shift this out of the way so you can do the second one, and another group of 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then just shift. It's the first one of the group of 5. Okay, and then we don't chain one after. Move it out of the way so that you can expose this top of the popcorn, and there's gonna be 2 double crochets in there, and then you just move along. Okay, so there, so if you peel that out of the way, you see how this one here, this is your first double crochet. See, that's the next stitch that's on top. So you're just gonna double crochet yourself across until you get to that cable work. So really this area gets bigger and bigger in the distance because the square is growing out. And this is the last one before the crisscross. So let's review again. So we want to make these front post trebles. Again, just peel these back out of the way, and you can see all three of those. So just wrapping twice and do the first one, wrap twice and do the second. It's in the side treble, don't forget that, it's a front post treble, and then do the third one. The third one's always the tightest one in there, and then once that's done you're gonna do the three that are leaning over, and then that'll put you back in line. So the next round that you have is that you're going to maintain these and keep these as a front post treble. The reason why is that it takes an extra round in order to get these to stabilize so that you get the look of this bouncing in and out of each other. So then you're gonna do every corner the same, and then that's it. So it's all pretty cool, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to maintain the pattern, use the diagram, and this was how you started, how you did your crisscross, how you accessed those front post trebles, and now it's just a front post treble next and then a crisscross in the next row after that, and you just have to maintain exactly what you see. So get all 18 rounds. In the final round it's just double crochets, so you're gonna eliminate, you're no longer gonna do these trebles in the last round, so just chain up 3, double crochet yourself across, and then in the top of the popcorn there will be 2 double crochets, and then in the chain 2 space there will be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then come back into the popcorn to put 2 double crochets on top. So just maintain that going all the way around. This is part of your challenge. Good luck with that, and we'll see you at the end. And this is the third of the 4th week. The next week is the easiest one of them all, and this one is the most exciting, at least for me. So that's it for now for week number 3 for your stitch along. I love this. You know, you could actually in the future, if you wanted to work on this even more, is that you could do more than one of these squares, and the way the lines are crisscrossing and stuff, I bet this would be absolutely fabulous if you did squares that matched this particular design and put it together. Pretty fabulous. So pretty excited about it. So continue on to week number 4 next week as we continue our mystery along with our friends at JOANN. So it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd, and again welcoming my friends over at JOANN.com. And thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week. Bye bye. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. Today's week number 4, the final week for doing your mystery Afghan with me. So this is going to be the easiest one of the 4. So they left the easiest one to the last, which I actually kind of love, because you know, when you get progressively harder and it's the last one, you start like, ooh. So you've already got the hard stuff in behind. So this one here has a ladder that goes into the corner, and that's using the chain 8s that are in the corner. Really quite an easy pattern to be able to maintain. Every other round is slightly different to provide some really neat holes that you see. And then once you're completely done the square, and in the photograph I show that one braid is actually already done and the rest of them has to get done yet. So I'm going to be showing that to you on camera and how that's done, and then once you have this done you're going to braid it through and then just let it hold, and then when you go to attach it to this neighbors you're going to put the final loop as you're doing the attaching in order to make it all work. So this one here is actually really quite easy, and I'm really kind of excited about this particular one too. So with this particular one, we start off in the center like we have with the rest, and there are holes every other round beyond this. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see that it's really quite an easy pattern to be able to maintain. It's just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and this matches. There's only 18 rounds of this particular one, and of all of them, I literally did this in about 2.5 hours, but I just put online that it's about 3 hours. So really kind of a no-brainer to think about, and I think that you'll love it at the same time. So let's head on down to the studio now to get you started on this one. So let's move along into week number 4, and this is what the pattern looks like. Again, 18 rounds, and every other round is something that's unique, but it continues to repeat a pattern on its own. So you can either look at the instructions. Remember that it is a 5mm size H crochet hook and Caron 1 pound yarn. If you have substituted, just continue to use the same size hook and yarn that you were continuing to use with the other weeks. So let's flip over to page number 3. So here's the diagram for this particular block, and you'll see that every other row has a chain 1 and a double crochet, and then chain 1 and double crochet. So you're just skipping over some stitches. So one round is completely solid with double crochets, and the next round is just a double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet to give you these gapping spaces. So what's happening here on the sides, this is the laddering effect. So what's going to happen is that we are going to continue to grow our Afghan exactly identical on all of the sides. I just happen to highlight these ones here because you want to pay attention to what you're doing when you're starting to do all the jumping as you're going across. Also, you're going to notice that this is some chain work, so this is going to create a ladder, and let me take you to the example and show you that. So here's what it looks like. This one already has it been done, and you'll see that it closed in. So when you get this done, it's gonna have all this open space right on the edges that you see. So once we get this done, what we're going to do then is that before you sew it to the other neighbors, you're just gonna work your way back. So this is the first chain work that you have. You're just gonna grab the other one and just pull up and through. Just like that. Okay? See how it just pulled it all? So then you take the next loop that's in behind, the next chain, and feed it through that one. See? And you just keep doing that all the way up to the top. So this chain work that you have is gonna compress on itself. So you're gonna notice that when this is done and it looks like this, it's not gonna fit your sizes, and it's not until you do this that it's going to do that. So once you get this particular square done, I want you to do that and then just set it aside, and then we're gonna put it together. This is your fourth and final square. So going back to the very beginning, we're gonna chain 4, and then we're gonna put 2 more double crochets into the 4th chain, and then chain 2, and then put 3 more into that chain, and etc. So we're gonna start off as a square, and we're gonna work our way out. I don't need to show you too much of this. I just need to get you to start, because all it is, it's 18 rows or 18 rounds complete, and 1 is a solid and 1 is just splitting so that you see the nice gaps. So let's get started on this, and then let's get going. So let's begin. You're using a 5mm size H crochet hook today, and you're gonna be using the 3rd color that you have within your stitch along. I notice a lot of people are substituting colors by now, so that's up to you on what color that you would like to make it. So we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the 4th chain, which is the starting one, I wanted to put 2 double crochets in there, and we're gonna use that as our center point for our square. So the chain that we just skipped plus the other 2 gives a total count of 3, and then you're gonna chain 2, and then right into the same one again you're gonna put 3 more double crochets into that one. So 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 2 and go back into that one again for 3 more. Okay, and then finally you got to chain 2, and you're gonna do your last side. So there's gonna be 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Now you're not quite done. You're missing a side, missing a corner. So make sure you chain 2 first, and then you just go into here and just go into the first one. So just right in the top of the first chain 3, and then we're gonna move up to round number 2. So round number 2 is a solid round, and then we start doing the spacing rounds after that, and then we start doing the chain work for the corners too. So let's begin round number 2. So let's begin round number 2. We're going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and this time we are going to start the chain work that is involved in making the laddering work that happens on the corners. So you're just gonna double crochet into each one of these. Now the laddering happens on every round going forward. So the corners are gonna be identical in either round that you're on, whether it's a solid double crochet or whether it's the one that's spaced out. So you're gonna do 2 double crochets into the space first, just like that, and then we are going to then just chain 8. So 8 is going to be the next laddering effect. So we're gonna do 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. As soon as you have 8, you're gonna come back down into the corner and finish it off with 2 double crochets. So that is going to be how that's gonna look. So that will be used later on down the road. So you're just gonna double crochet now in each one of the double crochets going across. So in this case there's only 3 here left, and then you end up in another corner. So let's review on how to do a corner again. So you're just gonna put 2 double crochets in first, and then chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then what I want you to do is come back into that same corner and double crochet 2 times. So please do this all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round, and I'll show you how to finish off. So this is the final corner. Okay, so you can see that it doesn't have the chain work in, so you're still gonna start off with your 2 double crochets first. You're gonna put in your chain 8, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, and then come back down into this one and you're gonna put 2 double crochets in. So what I want you to pay attention to is where, look where the slip stitch is, or sorry, look where it grew up. So this is part of this one, so you can tell that this is it for this round. Okay, so we are just going to then slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3, and then that's what round number 2 looks like. It's kind of a star. So let's go back to the diagram and just review where we are, and then I'm gonna show you the repeat pattern. So going back for round number 3, we are going to chain straight up, and we're gonna chain 4, which counts as a double crochet and chain 1, and then we are going to skip 1 and then double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip the next one, and then you're going to double crochet, and you should be on the last stitch here of this one. So you're then gonna put in 2 double crochets, and watch this black, see how it comes up. So then you're gonna chain your 8 and then come back into that same space for 2 double crochets. You're gonna double crochet in the first one and then start skipping again in order to complete this round. So they're all like that when we go to build up. Do you see how that's all matching all the way up, and see how it's matching all the way out? It's an easy way to be able to tell that. So let's continue with round number 3. So let's begin with round number 3. We're gonna chain up 4. Okay, so 1 2 3, that's your double crochet, and 4 is your chain 1. You're going to skip the next one and double crochet in the one after that. Then you're going to chain 1, skip 1, and then double crochet into the one after that, and see how it's the last one, so that you know that you're in the right position. So you don't chain 1 after you're hitting this corner, so there's gonna put 2 double crochets into this space. So 1 and 2, and then chain 8. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, and then coming back into the same space. Okay, just go right into it. Stay towards the close to where the side starts. It's just easier for later. So you're just gonna double crochet around that same chain work 2 times. You're going to double crochet into the first one that starts the row, and then you're gonna start skipping. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet in the next, which happens to be the last one before you hit the space. So remember to do the corners. You're gonna put in 2 double crochet first, then chain 8, and then put 2 double crochets back into that same chain space, 1 and 2, and then start this side again. So the first one is gonna be a double crochet, and then you start skipping. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. So I want you to continue to repeat that pattern all the way around, and it will stay nice and open just like this. And remember, at the end what's gonna happen is that we are going to put things together by interlocking them at the end. So continue the same idea going all the way around for round number 3. So I've turned the final corner, so you're gonna notice that the slip stitching is further away in than it was than the last round. So I'm going to double crochet into the first one to start the side, then chain 1, and the next one happens to be this next one that counts as a double crochet. So if you skip the next one, this is the one you want to go into. So you want to go to the 3rd chain up, don't go to the 4th, because you need to maintain that chain 1 space in order to have that. So as we move up now into row number 4, each one of them are just really simple. So you're gonna do a round like this, and then a solid round. So chaining up 3 counts as a double crochet, and you're going to go into the space, and you're gonna go into a double crochet all the way to the edge. So you're gonna make it nice and solid. So space and double crochet, and so when you hit these double crochets here, you're just gonna keep filling them up with double crochets on top. And then how are you going to do your corners? Exactly the way I showed you already. So you're gonna put in 2 double crochets first right into the chain 8, and then you're gonna chain another 8. So 1 2 3 4 6 7 8. Coming into that same space, I want you to put 2 more double crochets in, and then start the next side. So here's the next double crochet. So you're just going to go right on top of it and double crochet all the way across. So go into a double crochet if it exists, and if there's a chain one space, you're gonna go right into the space. So space, and then this one's a double crochet. So please do that all the way around for round number 4. We're just gonna quickly review doing these gapping spaces one more time, and then you're gonna get your 18 rows done, and then we're going to finish that off, and then we're gonna start the assembly process in the next video. So I'm coming all the way back around, and you can see exactly where I started here. So I'm just filling in the spaces. So I've just done my final corner, and I'm just going to double crochet across until I get to that same spot where I started. So making sure I'm going into all the double crochets that are available, and don't forget, see how this is building up there? There's a chain one space right before it. Make sure you go right into it with the double crochet and then slip stitch. So we're gonna go back quickly to the, actually I'm gonna show you now to get started, and then I'll show you the diagram. So we're gonna chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3, that's your double crochet. Chain 1, you're going to skip 1 and then double crochet into the next. Then chain 1, skip the next one, double crochet in the next. And keep doing that until you get to a corner. It's all timed out so that the last one will end up in the final before it turns. So then the corner is the same. We already know it. It's 2 double crochet, chain 8, okay, and then put in 2 more double crochets on the other side of that chain 8 space there. And now you're going to just continue along. So the first one is going to be a double crochet, and then you start skipping again. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, and you keep doing that all the way across. So chain 1, skip 1, see how you're creating this? So of all the squares, this one is the fastest, and I didn't decide the order of what the presentation is. The designers did, and I liked how they left the easiest one for last, because you know by this point you really want to get it done, and so the hard stuff's already behind you. So continuing, you should end up right in the last one before the corner, and again it's 2 double crochet, chain 8, 2 double crochet. So let's go back to the diagram, because you basically know what to do. It's just 2 rows of either solid or leaving the spaces, and you're gonna get a total of 18 rows done, or 18 rounds. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is just about to be done, so I have to only get to 18. So if you're looking at the diagram here, you can see that it's every other round that has the spacing, and the round before that is just solids. So you only have to do a total of 18 rounds. Now you're going to notice, as I mentioned in the very beginning, is that because of the open space it's gonna look awkward, but it's at the very end of this, what you're going to do is that you're just gonna start off with your first one, and then just pull it up, and then put the next one and just push it through the bottom and pull up, and then go to the next one after that and push it through that one, and then go to the next one after that and do that. I would not recommend doing it as you crochet. I recommend you doing it at the end of the project when the whole square is done, and you're going to notice that that's gonna pull in and make it more square. So once this happens, you're going to notice that it's very tense. So once that it's done, just refond it a little bit and shape it, and then once we get this sewn to the neighbor, we're gonna sew this particular spot right to a neighbor. So you don't have to sew it into position at this moment, so you have to just leave it. So please get your 18 rounds done, and then join me in the next video, and I'm gonna show you how to start putting this together. So that's it for now. Get this one done. It's the 4th one. This is the final one, and you're gonna join me with the next video that is released on today's date as well, and we're going to give you that and show you how to be able to put all your squares together from this very point. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at JOANN.com. Well, today was the final day, week number 4, but we still have to put all of our squares together. So you can see that it's a very large size. It's about 57 inches. That includes the border that needs to be attached once these are together. So today's tutorial, I'm going to show you the whip stitch on being able to put them together. The same color balls are opposite to each other, so they're diagonal. And again, if you didn't want to do that, you could have made a fourth color that you wanted to, and then just start the border as well. So a lot of nice options here. This really goes with my house, really quite lovely. I was really quite excited about it. So today's video, I'm going to show you the whip stitching, and I'm also going to just cover the braid real quick as we finish the braid on the one that had the ladder that is on the corner, which is currently still open here. And then once we get that done, we'll take you then through the border in today's video. So without further ado, let's head on down to the studio and let's get you started. Well, welcome to the stitch along, and this is the final clue. This is one that we're going to start putting your stuff together. So you're going to notice that two colors are opposite to each other. They're the same color, and then the other two are in the other direction. Now I notice a lot of people in the stitch along did their own colors. Hey, that's great. So what we need to do now is that we need to put these together. I'm going to show you the invisible seam in order to do it. Because you did 18 rounds, they should all match each other. And then once we get that done, the border is actually pretty simple, and these are really quite fun, and that is covered within the clue number 4 as well on how to do the border. So let me just take you to the instructions real quick, show you that, and then we're going to continue from this point. So right on clue number 4, you're going to see the border here. It's a total of 9 rounds, and it's completed in a stripe pattern. So it's color A for 3 rounds, and then it's color B for 3 rounds, and color C for 3 rounds. And so all you just need to do is that you just start off in the corner and you chain 3, and you double crochet 1 into each one of the stitches, and then in the corners you make sure that there's 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each one of the corners, and then it just builds up quite nicely. So you can see it in the actual colors. If you actually follow it along in the pattern, you'll notice that the colors are really quite strategic. So it starts off with the main color to kind of blend it all in, and then it starts then going off with the other 2 colors. Again, the border is just a straight double crochet border, really quite easy, and there's a total of 9 rounds. So let's get you to put this together first. Let's grab our darning needle and let's show you some tips. So I have some tips on getting things started, so I'm just going to use my highlighter here. So what I would do is grab 2 yarn strands that are the same color as the white, so or of the main color, and again you can decide. And what you're going to do is that you're going to sew with the whip stitch up through here, and then keep that strand going and go in this direction. And what this will do is that it'll put this square together with the other 2, and then with the other strand you're going to then start off on the edge from one side and then go straight up. So essentially there's only 2 joins that you really have, and then once you have that done, then it's just a straight double crochet then all the way around the whole concept. But let me show the invisible seam, because then you have a nice flat join by doing the invisible seam next. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to take care of the one that has the chain work on the corners. I've done now 3 of them. So you're just gonna start on the first one and then just grab the other one. If you want to use your crochet hook you can, and just start looping them up into each other as you're going. This is like this is kind of like the Jacob's ladder. So you're just taking a loop and just pushing the other one through. So then you take the new loop and push the next one through. And you're gonna want to really give it a good tug, okay, because all your stitch work is actually on the same chain. So if you want to just do that, okay, so you're gonna see it's kind of looking warped. So all you're just gonna do is kind of hold it, kind of pull up on it, and everything should reshift back into position. So leaving that out, you want to sew that into with its neighbor when you're ready. So let's get our main color square up, and let's get our tapestry needle ready. For demonstration purposes, the string I'm about to show you that I'm doing this with is actually smaller than it should be. I wanted to get it so that I can go up one side and then across, so it's got to be long enough to make that whole journey without actually ending. So just make sure that you just take an educated guess on how long that strand should be. So what you want to do with that starting strand is that you want to create a slip knot on the other side of it, and that will lock it in a position when you're ready. So just keep the loop out and ready. So you're just gonna lay it down so that the right sides or the front sides are facing up. Okay, and if you have to just pull on it a little bit to get them to match, that's what you need to do. So you're going to go right into a corner space. So here, let me just zoom in and show you what to do. Now if you stay on the front side of the project, okay, you want to go on the back loop. So if you've got 2 loops here, the one that's closest to me is the front loop, but if you use the back loop of the furthest one, you get an invisible seam. So go right into the corner. Okay, so there's only 2 stitches here, so you're just gonna go into the back loop only, and then I would go through that loop. right to start. That's your very first one, and then pull it through, and this will be a longer strand because you're gonna do a strand that can turn the corner, and you're gonna put it through the loop, and that's gonna lock it into position permanently. So now what you're just gonna do is you're gonna move to the next stitch here. Just place it so that this strand just gets stuck underneath the stitch work, and advance to the next stitch. Stay to the back loop. So if you're looking from the downward, okay, it's the one that's on the very bottom, okay. So in this case it looks like it's the front loop, but it's still the back loop, and you want to pull through both of those at the same time, and you're gonna get this yarn strand into position underneath. So you're just gonna go to the back loop here, keep this yarn strand on top because you're hiding it, and then go to the next stitch that's available to you. And then just go into the next one and just match as you're going across. Now if you notice that you're running out of stitches, then sometimes you just have to ad-lib a little bit, but this should be able to work it out pretty cool. Just keep it nice and tight together, and because you're going in the back loops of your stitch work, is that it creates an invisible seam that joins without any raised edging. So some people say, well, how do you do that without getting a raised edge like a windowsill? If you go into the back loops, you get that exact look, just like you see. So what I want you to do is that I want you to whip stitch all the way across, and then when you get to the absolute corner of the next side, I want you to come down, put the next square in, and then sew that into position as well. So I'm gonna leave that for you. When you're ready at the very end, you're just gonna weave in and out 3 times. So back and forth 3 times, and then just trim off your one, and then go and sew off the other edge so that you have a complete square. So I'm back, and now I have sewed everything together using the invisible join, and now this is all together. So now there are 9 rounds of doing double crochet starting with this. I want to give you a fair warning. This one right here, the last one, week number 4, has tension to it. You're gonna have to stretch it. So when you're looking at it from this perspective, if it's kind of looking like it's warping on you, just give that a stretch in the corners in order to get it to lay flat, okay. So there's a bit of tension in the way you do it, and once you give it that, you'll see that it will sit down. So I want you to start, we're gonna do round number 1 together, and I'm just gonna tell you how to do it, and I'll show you as well just to get started. I want you to start in this loop, okay. So this is that loop that's gonna hold. This is the only one that you have not secured. The rest of them have been sewn into position. So using 3 rounds of the main color, and then you're gonna switch off to the next color and then switch off to the next. So just coming into the corner, just join it, and you're going to just have a slip knot, okay. So slip stitch, and then 1 2 3 counts as a double crochet, and in the same one I want you to place in a double crochet. So this will hold that loop from ever falling out on you. So moving along, just peel it back if you can't see it. Just go along and double crochet in each stitch going all the way across, and then you'll get to the next corner. So the corners will always be the same in the next 9 rounds. They'll always be 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So this is all that it's gonna take. So you're just gonna do 3 rounds of this main color, 3 rounds of the next, and then 3 rounds of the final color in order to get it to go and work all the way out. When you get all the way back, you're going to come to the stitch before it, and then you're just gonna finish off this corner with putting in 2 double crochets, and then you're going to chain 2, slip stitch, and then you're going to join it, and then you're just gonna move up again and just start again. So chain up 3, double crochet in the same spot, and then 1 double crochet in each of them going all the way around. So it's a very simplistic border. You know, you put in a lot of time into your whole project, and so if you can see it from this perspective, it's really quite fun. And now you can just sit back, watch TV, and you can just go round and round 9 times using the yarns that you have chosen in order to have this blanket. So this is it for now. Let me do that, and then I'll be back, and then I'll show you what mine looks like. I've done mine to match my house, and then you'll be able to show us yours, and then we have a giveaway as well involved with this at the end as well. So I'll be back later when I have all 9 rounds done. So I'm now all finished, and I'm going to make an exception for the rule for the challenge. So in the second color, this is the one with all the puffs in it, the popcorn stitches. This one here I ran out of yarn too early, therefore I could not complete 3 rounds as suggested. So instead of telling you to go get another ball because I'm a loose crocheter, I'm going to make an exception. So color A, you should have 3 rounds, color B and C, you can only have 2 rounds if you wish instead of 3 of each. Again, that's going to be completely up to you. Also got a word of caution then on this particular square. This is the one with the stitch work that's on the side here that pops up is like the ladder work. This one here, I found the tension is really quite strong, so you're gonna need to block your Afghan at the end of your project. How to block is that you toss it in the washing machine and you just fill it with water, let it soak, and then immediately just switch it over to the spin cycle and let it spin, and then it will be just damp. And then make sure that water is cold so that the colors don't bleed on you. They shouldn't bleed, but if they are going to bleed, then they will. Make sure it is cold water, and then lay it down on a flat surface. It could be a floor, and just let it dry. So just stretch it out as you need it and just let it dry overnight, and then your Afghan would be good to go. So this is how you would complete this one. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining me. I gotta now just tie in my loose ends, and everything is good to go. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of my friends over at JOANN, as well as the crochetcrowd.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. So that's it for now. You're going to put this together and it's going to be quite fabulous. We've done our border by this point, and I think that you're going to enjoy this particular blanket for years to come.